What is going on, everybody? Happy Monday, y'all. What's going on, Rochelle?
How was New York?
It was great. It was fantastic. I love being in New York.
Yeah. Would you ever move there?
I mean, if I would move there tomorrow. I don't think I'll probably ever move there. And like, just from a work standpoint.
Really?
I did have a weird interaction with one of those weird fan interactions.
What happened?
I was waiting outside with Charlene and Andy. Prince Street Pizza. Have you had it?
Mm-mm.
Oh my God.
So good?
So good.
Okay.
It's worth that. I think that's my last meal. Prince Street pepperoni pizza. And I go outside, and where I'm waiting in line. It's like, there's always a line.
Yeah.
On the weekend. So 2 young women come up, kind of gave me the whole, hey, are you, said, yeah. How's it going? Shook their hand, took a picture. Then you can always tell, right? And then the one girl took the picture, said, sure. And then her friend was like, well, do you want to get a picture too? And she was like, no.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like thinking, okay, sometimes it happens. They don't watch the show. They don't care, but they're just being, and then sometimes they do that because they're trying to establish this boundary of, I don't think you're that cool.
Yeah. But
they're obsessed with the show. So she comes up, she was just like, so you have your podcast? And I'm like, yeah. And she goes, I'm paraphrasing. Well, meanwhile, then her other friends started recording the video of me talking to this girl, and I was a little uncomfortable with that. I was like, wait, you're like recording a conversation?
That's weird.
That's weird. I could and she's like, I work for a podcast company.
Oh, cool.
Not really. Whatever. And then she was basically saying, well, also, so like first there's a slight insult of like, I don't really care, but there's like, I listen to a bunch. I haven't taken the time to listen to you.
Yeah, it's nagging.
But I also, there's some things in sound quality that I can make better.
What?
And I'm like,
that is one thing we do not have a problem with.
First of all, that's not even the point. The point is, how do you fucking know if you don't listen?
Well, she obviously doesn't listen because we don't have a problem.
No, she obviously listens, and that was her way of like being like that classic person who's like, well, who are you? I've never met you before. Oh, aren't you on that show? I don't watch it. My grandma does, but I hear about it all the time.
Yeah.
It was just like, it was like, I don't know. It was just weird. I don't know. But she listens to the podcast too. But she wouldn't admit it. And it was just weird. And it was like a really dirty feeling. And Charlene and Andy were watching the whole thing. And it was like, oh, what was going on? It was super weird. And then like Charlene's like the sweetest person. So she kept apologizing for 30 minutes. Not because she did anything, but she's like, I'm sorry.
You had to go through
it. Was just like a weird thing. And but hey, you know what? Small price to pay for having, and then a lot of lovely people in New York listened to the podcast and came up and
really
and said they enjoy it. So thank you for saying hello and not being like that other person.
Yeah.
So anyways, I had a great time in New York. Thanks to everyone for who stopped and said hi in New York, who's checking out the podcast.
Yeah.
And I always like it when people, hey, how's it going? Listen to your podcast.
That's so nice.
Always enjoy you people. You people. Anyways, great episode today. Thanks always for listening. Don't forget to send in your questions at asknick@castmedia.com. We are no Tuesday episodes now while The Bachelor is in a short hiatus, but we will, as we mentioned last week, we'll be coming back to you for Listen to Your Heart, and we'll figure we'll recap it. Why not? You guys, I think it's going to be pretty good. And I don't really know what to expect, but I tell you what, we're going to have an opinion about it. And I think that starts April 13th. So we'll be back on Tuesdays on the 14th of April. And until then, you're stuck with us 2 days a week. And as always, thanks for listening.
Question time with Nick. Let's ask Nick your sexy questions.
How's it going?
Good. My name's Sierra. I am 21.
Hi, Sierra, 21. How can we help?
Okay. So basically, I had been seeing this guy for about 6 months. We were never officially like boyfriend and girlfriend, but we pretty much did all the things that like a couple would do. But kind of the reason that we never were official was because coming into the relationship with him, right before him, I had a relationship that really broke me down. Like it really hurt me. And I was just kind of really apprehensive of getting into another relationship and getting hurt again and then hurting someone else. But I still wanted to give him a shot. And so we spent like 6 months together, and I could just tell that he was really starting to like me more than I liked him. And he was kind of starting to expect more out of me towards the end, just with like time and effort and stuff. And I just felt like I couldn't really fulfill the things that he needed. And so I decided to end it. And basically my question is like, how do you handle the guilt and like, yeah, just like the guilt of like hurting someone and then like breaking up? Because I'm starting to like question my decision if I made the right choice or
to break up.
I should go back to him. Yeah.
Why are you questioning your decision?
I don't know. Like, I'm not sure if it's like I'm just really upset that it ended, or if I like actually still really like him more than I thought I did in the beginning or originally.
Let's go back to when it started. It sounds like, because I read your email, and from the tone of your email, it sounded like you thought he was a really nice guy. And you always felt like he really liked you, and you never really got, and you either didn't get over the past relationship or the initial one, or you just never, maybe you never liked him with the intensity that you liked the last person, you know? Is that all fair to say based on your email?
Oh no, yeah, definitely. That's definitely very accurate.
It sounds like to me, I mean, we've all done this, but you know, like you were probably a little selfish to get in this relationship. But you said to him, you said to us, you wanted to give him a shot. Like, what did you mean by that? Like, what was your?
So we actually met a year prior, and we talked a little bit, but it just kind of didn't work out. And then I know he's been wanting to like try again with me, I guess. Sure. And so I wanted to, I guess, see if it would work out.
Did you want to see if it would work out because you really wanted to give him a shot, or you wanted to see if it would work out because you were heartbroken and you didn't have the relationship you wanted to be in, and this felt like maybe, like you just kind of wanted to have somebody, and you thought, well, I mean, he's nice and he could work, so let's give him a shot. Like, was it really about giving him a shot, or was it about, you know, having a boyfriend?
Right. I mean, I think I definitely came into the situation like wanting to have fun, like having someone to do something with and like go places and get to hang out with him and his friends. So yeah, maybe it was like the selfish of I just like wanted to have somebody to be around.
She's saying she feels bad.
Well, I mean, you say you feel bad. Like, why do you feel bad? I mean, because you could feel bad because it sounds like he's really making you feel bad. Like he's letting you know how sad and distraught he is over this. And that sucks. I mean,
that's definitely.
I would feel bad. I mean, you're human.
Yeah. I don't know. I just thought like once I ended it, I would kind of not feel like a weight coming off my shoulder, but I just feel like better. But for the past couple of weeks, I've just been like really emotional about it and questioning my decision. And yeah, maybe it's him like telling me how he feels, because I said this in the email, but we have like the same major, so I see him a lot in the same classroom building, and like I guess he obviously took it really hard.
When was the last time you've like how you don't strike me as someone who might be single all that much? What's the longest period since like 16 that you have not had at least someone guy you're hanging out with? Totally and utterly alone with your friends. Which is not really alone.
Let me think about that. So, I mean, I have had like I've had 2 long-term relationships. I came into college dating someone for 2 years. And then I guess kind of a year, it was my sophomore year and I'm a junior. So I guess like last year I had a period where I wasn't seeing anyone.
Okay. Well, that's good. I mean, I guess that's what I'm saying. It's just, I think maybe you should take a break. I can't tell you how to feel. Like, you broke up with him for a reason, and from what you're telling us, it sounds like you felt like his intensity level was far exceeding yours, and you never were really there. And while you enjoyed his company and you enjoyed probably spending time with him because he was really sweet, it just didn't feel like the type of relationship you wanted. To me, that sounds like actually a mature thing to do, where you're just like, listen, this guy was only going to like you more. His feelings were only going to intensify.
Right.
Sounds like you question your ability to get to that level, and he was always going to get hurt, unfortunately. I mean, and listen, there's nothing wrong with you saying I was going to give him a shot or give the relationship a shot. That's fine. I mean, you're entitled to do that. You were upfront with him. There's nothing wrong with that. Maybe in the future, think to yourself, am I doing this because I just want to have somebody, or I really think it's there? And there's, and people fall in love differently, people can grow in love. So I don't really think there's anything wrong with what you did. But I would right now question, when you start feeling bad, when you break up with someone, whether you get broken up with or you break up with them, there's going to be these moments of loneliness and boredom and sadness. And unless he was a total asshole and it was an extremely toxic relationship where you're just relieved to be out of course you're going to miss spending time with him, right? Of course you're going to miss some of the little things that you guys did. It sounds like he was a pretty decent guy, is a pretty decent guy. So when you're at those kind of crossroads of wondering whether you want to get back together with someone, you have to really kind of go back to what you were feeling when you broke up with them. I think people your age, and I certainly did it when I was your age, we have that habit of breaking up, kind of seeing what else is out there. Then, maybe we have some fun, maybe we don't. If we get bored, we kind of go back to what was comfortable. And then, that's kind of selfish. You're wasting both of each other's times. And there's a lot of people that have that one relationship that goes on for 2 or 3 years, and you break up a bunch of times, you date people in between. And in one of those relationships, there's always someone who has way more power than the other person, and it's not gender specific. I've had guy friends who were just obsessed with these women, and I've had women friends who were obsessed with these guys. And it's just like, they kind of are always just chasing this person, and he's always going to be chasing you. And my gut tells me you're never really going to feel like you're getting what you want out of it. But you like having fun with him, and he probably makes you feel great, and you have to be careful not to rely on him to make you feel great when you are down, because that's pretty common in these situations where he's always going to be there for you, and he's going to make himself so available too. Like, he's just going to be like, I want you to think of me when you feel this way. And he's going to make you feel okay with quote, kind of using him. And that's kind of on you, since you have the power here to say, no, this is not, you're doing this for him. It's because this is only going to you're only going to delay it. Right. And unless, if you wake up one day and realize I'm in love with this guy, I would take a step back and really be like, am I just bored? Am I just lonely?
Yeah.
Because it sounds like you gave it a fair shot. So that's my take. And I don't know, you were kind, right? Like, when you broke up with him, there's a difference between being mean and direct. He's going to hurt his, you're going to hurt his feelings,
Right. No, I definitely tried to make it as kind as I could. I really told him it wasn't anything he did or didn't do. It was I just couldn't get those feelings. But he definitely is making himself available. He reminds me I'm still here, kind of thing. So I guess it's hard to not fall back into that trap of he's still there.
I mean, it seems harsh, but the right thing to do is to kind of stand your ground, at the risk of coming across cold to him. He's looking for any sign of hope, any sign that you care, and I wouldn't give it to him, because it's okay if he hates you for a little bit of time. That's okay. He'll come around, but his feelings are hurt, and we've all been there. But he he's got to get over it. I mean, put yourself in the shoes that you were in. You got your heart broken. It was kind of shattered, right? Like you seem to be recovered from that, but you probably needed to really kind of hate that person for at least a little moment.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So he might have to hate you, and that's going to be okay. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, and also with like the guilt, would you just say like, just keep doing you and
yeah, I mean, listen,
move on?
Breakups are hard, right? And that's the thing. It's kind of my point is, you know, if you're a good person, you break someone's heart, you should feel bad. Not necessarily feel bad like we're, you know, responsible, but that's love and that's dating and that's messy. And it could only, what you're considering is only going to make that worse. You know what I'm saying? Like now you're kind of at the point where like you could start fucking with him, you know, selfishly, where you're letting him and yourself convince you that it's okay to keep him around just in case you might change your mind. But deep down, you probably aren't going to.
Right.
And what you like, and that's the thing. It's like sometimes people in breakups, because they don't want to be mean, you know, they feel bad. So they don't really say they're not really totally honest, or they will say things they don't really mean. Like, well, you never know, you know, like you never know. We maybe could get back together, but like right now I just don't see it. And the truth is you just don't see it, you know? And
Right.
when you say you never know, that never know really means like, I really want to find something better, you know, and it's nothing against them. And that's okay. Like someday some girl is going to be obsessed with him and he's not going to feel the same way about her, you know, and that's life. But don't be cruel, you know? And that thing is, it's almost counterintuitive right now. The nice thing to do is to let him move on however he needs to, not to let him hang on and have you, you know, own real estate in his mind for the next 6 to 12 months. Because in the long term, that's the mean thing to do. You know, it just won't feel that way to him right now. So.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you.
Hopefully that makes sense. Yeah. But yeah, it sounds like you're doing the right thing. You just, you know, you're going to feel bad, but just when you get bored and lonely, don't be selfish.
Okay. I'll try not to.
All right. Take care.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. Bye-bye.
Ritual, the obsessively researched vitamin for women.
Ooh, vitamins for women.
Yeah. I mean, we're all trying to eat kale. We're trying to eat smoothies, and we're still missing nutrients. Even your sister said that when she was here.
Yeah, it's really hard to get all the nutrients our body needs.
Yeah. And so,
and men and are very different from women.
Yes.
Very.
Yeah.
Especially biologically. And Ritual has all the vitamins.
Yeah, it has D3, omega-3, and what I love, they have a no nausea capsule, because that's what I hate, like feeling gross after you take like a huge
dose of vitamins.
Yeah. And like these, you just take 2 and they have a minty taste, and it's like a pleasant experience.
I mean, you heard it. Have you ever heard someone say taking vitamins was a pleasant experience until now?
Yeah.
Well, you just did.
Yeah.
And I think I don't think that should be lost on you listening. So better health doesn't happen overnight. And right now, Ritual is offering my listeners 10% off during your first 3 months. Fill in the gaps in your diet with Essential for Women, a smart step that helps support a healthy foundation for your body. Visit ritual.com/VIALL to start your ritual today. That's 10% off during your first 3 months at ritual.com/VIALL. Get that pleasant vitamin experience.
Flamingo. Listen, if you're a woman, you know that you're paying too much for your razors.
Oh, hells to the yes.
They are scalping us. They're taking us for all we're worth. And that's why I love Flamingo. I brought the box in.
Tell us about it. Fun name. Look at those razors.
Yeah, the razor. And also, you know what's great? The shaving cream is like an award-winning shaving cream. It won the Allure. Like, this is good quality stuff.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and you can order this shave set. That's what we're offering. And look at inside. It says women are strong, smart, beautiful, funny, and hairy. Very true.
Yeah.
And it comes with this body lotion that smells really, really good. And it comes with shaving cream and a razor.
try the Flamingo shave set for just $16. You get all that for $16.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And right, I'm guessing even you guys buy razors at like a store, you're spending like more than $16 in just razors.
Oh yeah, and then it costs so much to get the blade refills,
Jeez,
but these are like a really good. I've been using it; it's a really good shave. Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, whew, boy. And then like if you decide to shave your legs, you're burning through razors probably at a pretty fast rate. That's a lot of surface area to cover.
I mean, it's just
It's expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways. It's your entire shave routine, including Flamingo's award-winning razor, shave gel, and body lotion. Plus, they throw in a slip-free shower hook. I'm telling you, shaving feels better when it's not overpriced. Amen to that. And with their 30-day money-back guarantee, you can try Flamingo risk-free. Flamingo is in over 1 million bathrooms, and it can be in yours too for just $16 with free shipping today when you visit shopflamingo.com/VIALL. That's shopflamingo.com/VIALL. How's it going?
I'm good. Hi,
What's your name?
I'm Hannah. I'm 24.
Hi, Hannah, 24. How can we help you?
Well, basically, long story short, I met this guy last year, and we very quickly got into this sort of friends with benefits sort of situation.
Mm-hmm.
And I was okay with it. And until he started like blurring the lines. So I just asked him straight up about it. And he was like, no, I don't want anything. I don't want anything serious. So I was like, all right, cool.
When you say
And
blurring
then,
the lines, what do you mean?
Like, it would go from me sleeping over and going right back out to me sleeping over and him making breakfast to him like making a big deal out of my birthday and then like meeting his family. I think when I met some of his family, I was like, okay, what's going on?
So you guys were hooking up and you felt like he was starting to like act like a boyfriend.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was my understanding that wasn't what we were doing.
Sure, I get that. I literally didn't understand what you meant by blurring the line. So it was him doing some boyfriend things that you question whether he just wanted this to be a hookup thing.
Yeah. So
Okay.
like I asked him and he said like no, like he didn't want any feelings to be involved. So I said okay. And we were fine for a few months, and then he started doing things again, just sort of like saying little things. Like he would do me a favor and then be like, oh, like, you don't know how much it means that I did this for you. Like, I don't do this for anyone. And like, he asked to come spend a weekend with me. And like, I don't know, it was just like little things.
Okay.
And it's gotten to the point where like, I just want to know what's going on his end, but I don't want to seem like I want something more.
Okay.
So, like, I don't really know how to pose that question without it seeming, because, like, I've already asked once
Yeah.
and got an answer. So, like, I don't want to ask again, seem like pushy, like I'm looking for something when I just want clarification.
She says they text every single day, and then he was her date on Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you text every single day, is it always him reaching out, or is it pretty even?
It's like both. Like, if he'll like see something and send it to me, or I'll see something, I'll send it to him. Like, it's very light-hearted sort of conversation, but we probably don't go 2 or 3 days without.
Are you going on dates with other men, or are you?
I haven't been.
Are you hooking up with other men?
No.
Why not?
He's really like the first guy I've like just hooked up with.
Okay. Well, what's your motivation for keeping it why do you want it to be just a friends with benefits situation?
Because I know who he is, and I know who I am, and I know that like if it were to go forward into something else, it wouldn't work out.
What do you mean by that?
Just because we just have fundamental differences. Like, he really wants to. He's a freelance person, wants to like go everywhere, and I want to just like stay in one place and build a community. He has a touch and go religion relationship, and that's something that's really important to me.
Okay.
So like, I just know that it wouldn't really work out.
But minus kind of, and that makes sense. But minus that stuff, you quite enjoy spending time with him.
Oh yeah, like we're cool. Like we're really good friends. I feel like
He said he
despite
wanted
the
to
difference.
be in a relationship with you. What would you say?
I would say we had to talk.
Well,
Well,
Like,
in
you
your
just have- you just-
email, you said you would want it if he asked you.
Well, it's not that I wouldn't want it. It's that like I wouldn't be against it, but I wouldn't want to like talk.
it's kind of a yes or no answer, Hannah. There's nothing wrong with saying
It's okay, yeah.
like this is.
You like him. It's
I
fine.
think it's safe to say you
Oh,
like
no.
the guy.
I definitely like him. Like I'm not denying that I don't like him. It's just like I'm very careful with putting my feelings like into someone because I'm not
get
trying
it.
to get hurt.
Yeah, I get it.
And-
How old is he?
He's 30.
Okay. Here's the thing. You like him. That's okay. He likes you. And that's okay. And you're probably it's a chance that you are being smart by protecting your heart. He is a little older, right? So, I don't know this guy. There's nothing wrong with the fact that you're dating him, but he is a little older. He might be at a different place of his life. Maybe you feel a little unsafe, about like how he communicates his feelings. It's entirely possible that while he does these things, like takes you out on Valentine's, introduces you to his parents, et cetera, those actions might not be as meaningful to him as they are to you. You never really know. Like sometimes these little things, we have a way of like, oh, well, he took me out for Valentine's Day and he invited me to his parents. Those could be big moments. They also could be like, I don't know, I introduce everyone to my parents. You never really know. But I think when it comes to friends with benefit situations, unless you're two people who are just like broken on the inside and you've kind of given up on love, there's a short shelf life to a friends with benefit situation, because someone of
Yeah, like when we met, I was definitely broken.
yeah, and that's fine.
So-
Like, and you probably weren't as broken. I mean like broken on the like you just kind of given up on. Like, I don't mean like heartbroken. I mean you may were you hurt? But you've been hurt before. It sounds like maybe.
Yeah, like I had just gotten out of a very, very bad sort of situationship like a week before we met.
Yeah, that makes sense. So so you're guarded. You're not broken. You're just guarded. When I say, I mean, I'm kind of kidding, but when it's just like, but the point is, friends with benefit situations tend to have a shelf life, right? Because if you're guarded and maybe he's guarded, or maybe you are pragmatic enough to be like, hey, listen, we're very different people. Like, you go left, I go right, but like, hey, the sex is great, so let's do this for a moment. You're human, right? And you're spending time and you are talking on a regular basis. Like, someone, if not both people, are going to develop real feelings, right? So I think you just kind of have to be more honest with yourself about how you feel about him and the possibility of a relationship. I think it's smart that you seem to be objective about like how realistic a relationship could be with him, because you could develop feelings and the things that you just said about the differences also could still be true. And you could be right. You could be right by saying, yeah, man, if I really open up to the possibility of a relationship with this guy, I'm going to get really hurt in a year. That's possible. I don't know, but the good news is you're only 24 and you can take a risk and you can get heartbroken again and you can survive it. I believe that. I know that you can. I'm not saying you should here, but I think you just need to be honest with the fact that this friends with benefit thing is kind of over, right? So you need to decide, what do I want to do with this, right? You could ask him again. And you're saying, well, how can I ask without making it seem like I want to? Which is what you're really trying to say is, I don't want to sound like I want to, but I actually do want to. But just in case he doesn't want to, I don't want to put myself out there and feel rejected.
Basically.
Yeah. So, I mean, listen, he likes you. He definitely likes spending time with you. That much is obvious, right? You might have given him an opportunity to have his cake and eat it too, right? Because you're not dating, you're not boyfriend and girlfriend, but you guys treat each other like boyfriend and girlfriend, and he could be dating other people, and there's nothing wrong with that. He could have occasionally. So what you're afraid of is asking him to stop doing that, and you're afraid of the answer, and that's totally normal.
Well, I just don't want it to seem like I really want something. Because like what I really want is really conditional on what he wants.
Why?
Honestly.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
Like what I want is really conditional on what he wants.
Mm-mm.
Like
no, it's not.
That's wrong.
Like, it may not be a good thing, but like that's just like how I am. Like
that's not. Well, that's
I just
not true.
And it's not a good way to live your life. Who cares what he wants? It's what you want. And then he can say yes or no.
I want to be wanted. Like in any situation, whether it's a friendship or a relationship, I want to be wanted. So if the other party doesn't want me in that capacity, then I don't want that.
Sure, but making yourself always available to everything they want in the moment they want it isn't a great way to get them to want you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, in a perfect, you're trying to just describe this perfect utopia, but like you're not doing anything wrong. But I'm just saying, like, he is kind of. And he's not necessarily doing anything wrong either. But at some point, you need to, like, again, we talk about this a lot on the show. You need to set some expectations for yourself and then for him, right? You need to figure out, what do you want in a relationship and what do you want to get out of it? Do you want this consistency? Do you want to have some sort of connection with someone from a religious standpoint where you're on some of the on the same page? Or do you want someone who's just like respectful of your beliefs? You know, do you want someone who is open to settling down? Those things matter, right? But in the meantime, do you want someone who like doesn't have sex with other people? Like, that's normal. You know, I want to know that they're not. And if you're open to open relationships, then that's fine too. But you need to define these expectations for yourself. And right now you're at the point where what you did was you got in this friends with benefits situation. You were guarded before. Nothing wrong with that. Good for you. But now you've developed feelings. You are talking to him on a regular basis. And again, unless you're like dead inside, you're going to start developing feelings for each other. And that's also totally normal. And I don't doubt that he likes you. But there's a good chance you could say to him, this is what I want. And he could say, I don't know. You know, and he could reference the age difference. He could reference the different lifestyles, all of which might be valid excuses on his part, not bullshit. Then you need to decide, all right, well, this isn't in line with what I want. And then you should probably leave. And if he can decide whether he's willing to sacrifice some of those, is he able to get over those things or not, right? But right now, you guys are going to get into the point where you're just going to really waste each other's time. And then keep in mind that you can't, you can only guard yourself so much, right? You can't pretend, right? You got into this thinking, well, I'm guarded, so I'm going to friends with benefit. Now you like them. There's nothing you can do about that. So one way or another, when this ends, you're going to be sad, right? You're going to be disappointed, and you're going to feel a little bit of heartbreak, and you'll survive. That I have no doubt. But whether it ends today or it ends in a year, you're not going to feel nothing. So you might as well get the most out of this relationship that you want. Right? Instead of like half-assing it to protect your ego and pride and things like that. Like, you're a beautiful girl. You seem like
gorgeous.
You know, like you know what you want.
Gorgeous.
You have a good head on your shoulders. And again, I just want to say that you are only 24. So like, if you like him, go for it. You know.
And you said you confronted him drunkenly. What did he say when you did that?
Well, he basically just sort of like, I don't know, like he kind of brushed off the issue, because I texted him about it and he was just like, well, he didn't see how he was
in the wrong
doing anything.
Yeah, because he's clear, because he told you
he's not doing anything wrong.
I think he is, but
I don't think he's doing anything wrong, but like he's like,
she has to set some boundaries. I mean, there's no, you guys don't have a contract. There's no written rule that if you are friends with benefits, he can't introduce you to his parents. You're reaching out to him. It sounds like the texting back and forth is pretty even. Listen, I get what Rochelle's saying to a certain degree, but like I'm assuming he has feelings too. This is on you to say.
He said that he likes you.
Of course he likes you. Like, no guy is going to talk to you like, he went with you on Valentine's Day. He's texting every day. He likes you, right? He just might. I don't know if he's in love with you, and he could like you and still go on dates. He might just like you be saying like, I like this girl, but like we have our differences, and I just don't see how a relationship could really work out. he could say the same things that you're saying, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it is on you to set your boundaries. So boundaries could be like, listen, I do like you, and I like this friends with benefits situation. And I would be honest with you, like, I do like meeting your parents, and I liked the fact that we went out to Valentine's Day, and I kind of like, I do like you, and I could go there. I know that you might not want to, but if we're going to keep doing this, what I don't want, and I'm going to just point it out there because then I'm going to call you on it going forward if you do it, is I don't want you to do these things that make me feel special and unique. You know, if you are going out with other people, I don't want to meet your parents. They're lovely people, but I don't want to get to know them if we're not in a relationship. I don't want to take trips together. Right. I don't want to do like celebrate Valentine's Day. But that's on you to set those boundaries. And then after that, if he doesn't respect the boundaries that you set, then you have the right to call him out. But right now you're like, well, I want him to like, you're not, you want him to guess.
You
like,
want to pretend like you don't care.
You want to pretend like you don't care. And he might have different expectations of what friends with benefits means. So you guys haven't set those upfront expectations about that. And you're just afraid to get an answer, and I get that, but you need to start setting some boundaries, and I think you need to start preparing yourself to admit to him that you like him, and it's okay if he doesn't respond the way you want him to. But stop pretending that your feelings in the situation are his. What I'm saying by that is, I wouldn't be surprised if some of the things you said on the top of this call were things that you think he might say, about your differences, well, I'm a freelancer. I like to be, but I know she wants to settle down. I'm not very religious and I know it's important to her. And now you're just kind of saying that. I don't know, but my gut tells me that maybe that might be the case. It's you really like him, and that's okay. And I know he likes you. I just don't know how much. And right now he's definitely gotten to a bit of a comfort zone with being able to do whatever he wants, and he's human, and it's on you to tell him to stop if you want him to stop, and then he has the right to say, well, I don't want to stop, and then at that point you have to not pretend that you're okay with that, because you're not.
Yeah.
And then you have to be prepared to lose him.
Yeah.
Because
if it ain't now, it's gonna be later.
And I just want to emphasize, whether it ends today or ends in a year, you're going to be sad that he is not in your life. And that's okay. And you will survive. But it's only going to get harder if you keep kind of being a little dishonest with yourself about your feelings on the situation.
No, I get that. You're
going to be okay, Hannah.
Thank you.
You're a total babe. You seem really nice. You're going to be totally fine. No guy has ever had a girl set boundaries, and again, you might not get what you want, but you'll get a positive reaction one way or the other. And again, he might not, but what I'm saying is, no girl has ever set boundaries to a guy and not have him respect her, sometimes they don't handle it well, but especially this guy, I know this guy, right? So trust me, he will, at least temporarily, you'll probably get a good response. You might get some excuses too, but stand your ground. You really got to stand your ground.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you got to sometimes go cold turkey, just be like, and I like you, but this friends with benefit thing has expired. We had a good run, but now I want something more. And I deserve something more, whether that's with you or someone else. And I'm at the point in my life where I want to invest in that. I met you when I was guarded, et cetera, et cetera. This is what I want. You got to say it to yourself first, though.
Do it.
Yeah.
When you talk to your friends, talk that way. Talk like, I want more now. I expect more. I did this little thing. I want more. You got to say that out loud. Yeah. Say it to your friends, say it to yourself, and then say it to him.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can do it.
Thank you, guys.
I believe in you. All right.
Bye.
Take care.
All right. Bye.
Theme today.
What?
Delaying the inevitable.
Delaying the inevitable.
Yeah. Well, again, with the first call, she's, do I go back with him? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
You're just delaying the inevitable.
Right.
It's only gonna sometimes. Yeah. Listen, when we say this, dating's hard. Heartbreak is a thing. It's part of the process. The good news is, You experience a few times, you get a little numb to it. It's fine. But you can't cheat it. You can't. You can't. It's eventually going to happen one way or the other. Either you're going to hurt someone or you're going to be hurt or both. But you can't keep doing things to like prevent it. It's going to happen one way. So when you do it, be honest, be direct, be honest with yourself, and just do it. And you can't not do it because you're afraid of the answer. Yeah. Because of you're going to get the answer at some point. Yeah. It's just going to happen. It's an absolute.
These 30-year-old fuck boys, it's like trying to tame a wild horse, man. Got to break them in. You got to whip them and.
Yeah, but again, she's an adult.
I don't think I should act like that.
What?
I still don't think I should do that.
Guys should do what?
Like,
what do you mean? What is he doing that he shouldn't do?
The Valentine's Day, the family texting every day, and still, like, I think that's on you at some point to be like.
It's on, well, and it's on you, the guy.
It's on the guy to not do that to someone.
To someone. What do you mean by that?
He can tell that she really, really likes him.
How do we know that?
She said she confronted him a couple times about it.
When we got on the call, this very much sounded like, again, I didn't read her email, but when we got on the call, this sounded like she at first had the power, very like assertive about like what she wanted and what she didn't want, and she was worried about him liking her more.
Oh, and no, that's not what it is.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is she could be doing the same thing to him. Mm-hmm. Right? She's putting on a bit of a front to protect herself. Mm-hmm. And I think you're suggesting that he should be some sort of mind reader because of what he's either a guy or older. I mean, she seems very mature. He could be less mature than her. I don't know.
Yeah.
She could have said to him, like, let's just go on a Valentine's Day. I'm not doing anything. You're not doing anything. Like, we should definitely have sex. And if she says that, is he supposed to condescend her and say, well, you don't know what you're talking about, you young 24-year-old. Like, I'm just saying it's a little like, she's not a victim. She's an adult in this situation, and she needs to set boundaries for herself. And if she keeps pretending that she doesn't care, it's not on him to care for her. Mm-hmm. Right? I know it's a little messy sometimes. And you know what? You're right. In some situations, if a guy or a girl feels like our first caller, she knows she has the power here. Uh-huh. She knows that like he really likes her, and she knows that she doesn't really like him, but she feels bad. That would be a dick move to like go out with him on Valentine's Day because she's bored and lonely.
Yes.
But that's not Hannah here. Like she is like he brings out to their family and she calls him out like, well, why are you doing that? We're friends with benefit. What she really wants to hear is, well, it's because I like you and I want to introduce my parents. She's not saying that, so she's not communicating effectively, and maybe he isn't either. Yeah. But she is an adult in this dating situation, and she is responsible for setting her own expectations. And if she's not willing to do that, then you can't always expect the other party to quote unquote do the right thing, because they're also thinking of themselves and they're protecting their own hearts, and maybe, who knows? Yeah. How's it going?
Hi, good.
What's your name?
I'm Margaret. I'm from Virginia.
Hi, Margaret from Virginia. How old are you?
I am 58 years old.
58. Ooh. All right. We are a broad show. We cover all spectrums.
What do you mean?
Broad. We have 18-year-olds calling in. We have 58-year-olds calling in. Margaret, thanks for calling in. We're excited about this one. How can we help?
Well, my daughter will be 30 next month. She is not married. She is very independent. She loves to travel, but she is not interested in settling down at all.
Okay.
And I'm 58. I do have an older son with grandkids, but she's my baby, and I'm ready for her to move it along.
Okay. Well, so your daughter doesn't necessarily have the problem. You have the problem with.
Yeah.
Okay.
How old were you when you got married?
I was 20 the first time.
Oh.
So.
Okay. and when and so you're I mean, in all seriousness, like, is this something that you're really, do you have disagreements with your daughter over this topic?
Not really disagreements, but she doesn't want to talk to me about it anymore. So I'm not allowed to ask if she's dating anybody, who she's going to dinner with.
That's a boundary.
So you've gotten to the point where you annoyed her enough that she shut you down.
Yeah, I have.
Okay.
I have. So.
And what is your question?
Well, what's your generation? You're a little bit older than her, but what's your generation waiting for? Why are they not wanting to get married and settle down? Or, I mean, we got married young.
Yeah.
But my second husband was military, so we've traveled the world, and she's seen a lot of the world herself. She went on a backpacking tour 2 years ago by herself, traveled the world. So she's done a lot of things. So I think the next step is to find somebody and get married.
Maybe she feels totally different. I think what's different about the younger generations now, your daughter's a millennial. Technically, I'm a millennial. I'm at the right. Yep. I'm on the end. And the generation younger is, the average person's getting married later in life. I think like it's 29, 30, right around your daughter's age. But and I think there's pros and cons to both. I mean, the pro to your generation is like there was just more of a set. The world was smaller in a sense. There was more of a set playbook, if you will. You went to high school, maybe you went to college, and then the person you were in love with at that point. That's who you got married, and it was just like what you did, and not only what you did, but everyone around you did. So if you weren't getting married and you weren't having kids, you were considered an outsider, if you will. And now people are doing that less and less, specifically women, right? Like back in the day, old school, it was like your job, like your job was to like get married and have babies. You weren't even expected to like consider having a career or go to work, Now women feel more empowered to do that. And rightfully so. Not all women want to do that, but it's certainly more of an option for them. And just like men throughout history, are settling down later and later, and because they've been focused on their careers, and they're just less concerned about that. So it's not so much like that your daughter hasn't seen the world. She just might not be willing to give up some of the freedom that she's enjoyed. She has this independent kind of bug in her, which is great.
Very much, yes.
Does she ever say to you that she wants to someday get married and have kids?
Yes. Yeah, she's mentioned it. And she'll say, when I have kids, but she doesn't want to share anything else. But that way.
My dad was like 32 and had 5 kids. You know what I'm saying? So like this whole idea, well, I had 2 kids when I was your age. Well, no offense, Margaret, but good for you. Like it's it is a different time, right? I doubt very much that you want your daughter to feel the pressure of being single and not having kids and then go on some dating app and then settle down with a guy she kind of likes only to be miserable at 35, and then you have 1 grandchildren and they get divorced, and then all of a sudden you're like, you don't get to see your grandchildren quite as much because he's a total dick and there's always these constant custody battles, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Right? I mean, I think that's...
You're right about that.
I think that's fair to say. So...
Yeah. How old were you when you got divorced?
I was 23 when I got divorced, and I was 25 when I got married again.
Okay. And did you have kids before or not?
Yes, I have. My older son is 36, so I had him when I was 22.
Okay.
And then I have.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think there's much. I think you would be making a mistake to spend a lot of time comparing your young life to hers. I mean, for a lot of reasons. I mean, it's just a different time. You might even have different personalities. I don't know. Does your daughter take after you? Like, do you see yourself in her, or does she maybe more take after her dad?
She takes a lot after her dad. She's really much more well, I had 3 kids when I was her age, but she's much more independent. But we kind of raised her like that.
Sure.
We wanted her to have a career so that she could take care of herself, that she didn't have to depend on somebody else. But I also want her to be happy and not be alone. And, I'm 58. You probably have parents close to my age.
Yeah.
So our time on earth is getting shorter.
You're going to be fine, Margaret. I mean, listen, she's 30. She's not 45, right?
Yeah.
And she can meet someone tomorrow. I do think in the present time, you kind of nagging her and bugging her is only going to put a strain on your relationship, and it's only going to make her feel resentment towards you that is quite unnecessary, right? So,
yeah,
does she date?
I think so, because every once in a while she'll mention I went somewhere to meet somebody, but again, she won't tell me.
Well, because
she won't tell me anymore, so I just don't ask.
That's on you, though, right? So, I think
that's on me.
You need to. I think you need to just try to reset. Maybe just have a moment. You can be like, I talked to this random dude on the internet, and he said I should chill out. But in all seriousness, you could say, you know what, I want you to know that I love you. I want you to know that your happiness means a lot to me. And I want grandkids, but I'm sorry that I made you feel a certain way. But either way, I would love to, if you feel comfortable hearing about your life. And I promise not to make you feel judged or ask too many questions. But like, you are my daughter. And so I'd love to hear what's going on, in your life. Yeah. And then whenever it is you settle down, I'm here for it and I'll be excited. But you're not going to pressure her, make her feel guilty, or fall in love with every guy she brings home just because they give you a hug and they're kind of nice the first 2 times. He might be a total asshole. There are a lot of guys who know how to be nice to parents and are very charming that are total dicks to their girlfriends.
Yes, that's true.
So yeah, she doesn't want to have to explain herself to you all the time. So I would, if I were you, I would, let her know that you are sorry for making her feel that way. Because I'm guessing it would be fun to hear some of these stories, and it would be fun to not tiptoe around her. And now she's probably, and she could probably be nicer about it, but you kind of started it, so maybe you try to end it in terms of going out there and saying, hey, and that would probably put a lot of less pressure on her, and not feeling any resentment about it. Because my guess is she probably wants to settle down as much as you want her to. Right?
Okay.
That would
maybe.
be. She's not going to tell you that, right? She would never tell you that.
She's not.
She's because she doesn't want to give you that satisfaction, and she doesn't want to put that pressure on herself. So you're not going to change anything, right? She's decided not to get married in her early 20s, and there's definitely it is challenging. There's kind of this, it's like even today, there's a lot of people who still settle down in that same period of life, early 20s, right? It still happens all the time. Right. And it's a lot easier to do that because you're kind of, for a lack of a better word, ignorance is bliss, right? It's easier to fall. Yeah. You're in your early 20s, you see someone, you're like, I love you, let's get married, And has she had heartbreak before? Has she had boyfriends?
She has had boyfriends, but... Yeah. Honestly, she's broken up with all of them.
Okay.
But her friends that she's good friends with, that she's been friends with for a long time, they're all the same.
Like her?
Her first, like her.
You say that like it's a disease.
Yeah.
They're all wonderfully independent.
Do you ever look at her life and the things she's gotten to see and do and think oh, that would have been fun. I would have liked to do that. Oh my
gosh, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I would have never gone backpacking around the world by myself.
Yeah.
But she did. But all the technology that we have now, we could keep tabs on her when she was in South America, when she was in Asia, when she was in Australia. Mm-hmm. So it was, and we can FaceTime with her. It made it really easy, but it's still a worry. But
what are you worried about?
I'm glad that
what are you worried about?
Well, like when she was in South America, that's not one of the safest places. Yeah,
what are you worried about with her not having a relationship?
I don't want her to be alone. I don't want her to be. What?
Doesn't sound like she's alone at all.
She's not, I guess, because she does have a lot of friends.
Yeah. Where is she? Is she live in a big city?
She moved to Denver about a year and a half ago. So, but she was in DC for 8 years before that.
Yeah.
So.
Maybe look at your fears around it and try and be rational about what that really is, because it doesn't sound like she is in any kind of danger or lack. So maybe reframing that might be good. But congratulations on raising like an awesome, independent, adventurous woman. Like, good job. Now you have to reap what you sowed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Too much independence. Too much.
I don't think you can have. I mean, yeah. I think I get where you're coming from. You're not alone with a lot of parents doing that, but I don't think I think you do need to reframe your perspective. I think in the short term you should try to reconnect with your daughter and make her feel like, yeah, I know I kind of did this. I'm sorry. I'm just being a mom, but I apologize for making you feel this way. But I hope that you can, I'd love to hear some of your dating stories. And I will do that without ever judgment or rolling my eyes or asking kind of questions. She is going to, clearly your daughter's going to settle down when she wants to. And nothing's going to change that. And you're not going to change that. And no guy's going to change that. And again, I think you should feel a sense of pride about that, because there are a lot of people in this world and a lot of women who do struggle with chasing guys because they just want somebody, and they're just, they don't set their own expectations about what they want from a dating standpoint. And it sounds like your daughter knows what she wants, and won't settle on that. And I think that's something that you, again, like Rochelle said, you should feel proud that she feels that way, because there's a lot of people who don't. And then there is a lot of people who don't and then get themselves in very toxic and unhealthy situations and start having kids they can't stand. And then you have a grandchildren, but which is great and it's a blessing. But sometimes that can be challenging. She's still young. She still has plenty of years to have kids, and you're still young, Margaret, 50, 58. Yeah. It's like the new 40. Yeah. You're going to,
Thanks.
So you, I think in the short term, try not to stress her out, because she isn't you. It is a different time. Our society is telling us, and rightfully so, that we don't have to immediately get married as soon as we're done with college or high school. We don't have to settle down with the person that we're in a relationship in our early 20s, because that person, as we've come to find, isn't always the person that we want to spend the rest of our life with.
That's why I've been married twice.
There you go. Right. So
and living a single life, it's different. It's a different experience than the one you have and the people have when they're in relationships. It's different. It's not worse or better. It's just different. A different experience, a different life path.
Maybe she'll get knocked up. You'll have a grandkid and she'll be independent.
She's not going to do that. I don't want grandkids that way.
You know what? But you just take them any way you get. It sounds like you raised a good daughter who knows.
I have two that live close by, but they're my sons.
I think it would go a long way if you sat your daughter down and said, "Listen, I apologize, blah blah blah, for all the things I said, but I do realize that I'm really proud of the woman you became, and I'm going to take a lot of credit for that as a joke." But you know what I'm saying? You did. I think you're losing sight on all the great things that your daughter has become at the risk of not being like everyone else, as you say, or not doing things the way you did, and you being a little impatient because. Without talking to her, it sounds like she's not lonely. She has friends. She's seeing the world. She's confident in herself. She's not willing to settle. And there's a good chance she's going to find a guy when she's ready that she really likes. And then even if that means when she's 33, 34 years old, that means that she has 20, 30 more years of spending every day with someone she truly loves, not kind of likes, and she has a family with someone she has a lot in common with, and she can do the things that she likes to do with him, and they can raise the type of family that way they want to raise, not, again, with someone that she's borderline indifferent about 6 years later.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I just have to be patient.
You do.
Yeah.
Gotta be patient, Margaret.
Thank you so much for
Yeah.
calling.
It's been a fun call.
Yeah, it's a good call.
Let us
Thank
know.
you.
We would love an update on this.
Okay, I will keep you updated.
Thank you, Margaret.
And thanks for listening.
All right.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right.
Yeah. What a great call. Classic parents.
Relatable.
I commend Margaret for asking the question and putting it out there and being willing to get objective feedback on what her daughter's point of view might be.
Yeah.
I think this is our society,
Yeah.
People still feel like they have to justify why they're single or why they haven't settled down yet.
I wonder, part of me wonders if she's a little jealous of her daughter and that's the way she's reacting.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think so. Maybe, but I don't think it's. I think
Because my grandma, my mom is a neonatal nurse practitioner, and my grandma always hated that she did that and went to college. And part of me always thought maybe she feels bad she never got to go to school, but I don't know.
I mean, that's possible. Margaret doesn't seem like a jealous person. I think she just, I think she had it in her mind. I think and this is coming from a guy who's never been a parent, but I think it's safe to say that as parents, we have an idea of how we want our kids to be by how we raise them. And then when they don't do what we kind of hoped for them, it's hard to accept sometimes. And I think that's a pretty normal feeling. I don't think that necessarily means jealousy. Not saying that it can't happen with parents, but I don't necessarily, and she seems very happy their daughter's got to do what she does. She just wants some kids and she thinks she's assuming that her daughter is alone when she's not. How's it going?
Hey.
Hi. What's your name?
Hi, I'm Kelly. I'm 39.
Hi, Kelly, 39. How can we help?
About 7 months ago, I was broken up with after a 2.5-year relationship. We were living together, and he was leaving he was a musician, and he was leaving for tour for 5 months.
Okay.
And the day he left for tour, he never spoke to me again. And he texted me about 5 days later and told me to move out.
Oh.
Wow.
And I never heard from him again.
Okay, I'm sorry. Is there a question?
Yeah, the question is, because I never got to talk to him or have any closure around this, I wrote a closure letter. It's been kind of a long road of recovery, but I wrote this letter and I have it, and the question is to send the letter or not to send the letter. I know he's probably could care less, won't read it, will read it, make him angry. I don't know. But
I think the important thing in that is that it won't change the outcome. So regardless of whether he reads it or doesn't or whatever his reaction is, it won't change his feelings. So if you're sending it with any hope that he will reevaluate his decision, I highly doubt that. Now, that's not to say, and I'm not saying this to make you feel better, it's not to say he might pop back in your life at any given moment at his convenience, but it certainly won't be a result of that letter. That much I'm certain of. I am curious though. It sounds like this was abrupt and you were shocked, et cetera, et cetera. But when you think back on the relationship, were you blissfully happy and everything was perfect and then one day he left? Or were you just caught off guard and hurt by how it happened, but maybe looking back realize that maybe you felt like he was constantly doing what he when he wanted it, and you were constantly accepting his behavior?
I think in hindsight, there was probably some of that, but we were pretty damn happy.
Okay.
We were talking about marriage. We'd spent the summer in Europe. We, had animals together. We had plans. It was a whole thing. So, it was was pretty blindsided.
Okay. How long were you date? How did you tell us how long you dated for? 2 years, you said?
2.5 years.
2.5 years. And you had no contact with him other than he sent a text 5 weeks later, move out?
He sent a text about 10 days after he left.
And you
said,
had you been texting
move
and
out.
calling him like constantly?
Sorry?
Did you like text him and call him constantly after he said that?
I didn't go crazy. I didn't send like 50 texts. I maybe sent all in total like, 10 to 15 messages, like what the hell is going on, asking him to talk to me. And he just completely ghosted me, erased me from his Instagram. All of our friends dropped like flies. They just scattered. Like
all of his friends too? Like, so you had mutual friends and they all left you? Wow.
We had a whole community of friends, and it was nobody reached out. People were unfriending me on social media. It was, I don't know what, if he had to make up lies or say something to make himself feel like this was justified in some way.
Did you meet all his friends, all your group of friends, your community, were they all through him when you started dating?
Yeah, most of them.
Okay. Yeah. I'm sorry. That's tough. I mean,
Is he like in a relationship now? Do you know?
He's on his second relationship since this happened 7 months ago.
This happened 7 months ago. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, listen, that really sucks, and I'm sorry there's no way to necessarily make you feel better about it. You can only try to learn from it, I guess, and there's only so much you can do there,
Weird.
Yeah, it's weird. Musicians, they're a tricky bunch. First musician you've ever dated?
No, but the long term, like.
I'm honestly curious because I'm being somewhat judgmental about, have all your other relationships with musicians been just as unpredictable? Yeah, I have a lot of friends who have dated musicians, and they all tend to have some tragic stories about the unpredictableness of. That's not always the case, but I think in this situation, it's always important to diversify your friend. If you date someone and all of a sudden you're like, all of our friends are your friends, unfortunately, sometimes that can happen. And you were friends with all of them? You felt like you were close with them? They weren't like kind of just being nice to you because they were his friends?
I really felt like we were all really tight.
Yeah.
Like we traveled together. We had lots of experiences together. I like made a point to focus on our like community of friends because I was in it, like the whole thing. And I think it's just like, I just feel like it's not fair. He got to drop this and walk away and not realize the damage that he caused.
It's not fair. It's definitely not fair, but I think once you say that, you need to just, unfortunately, you got to accept it, right? Closure doesn't come from apologies. It comes from you accepting the reality of the situation. You're only going to make it worse by saying, this is not fair. It's not fair. He needs to fix this. And I need, your ego is just like, you deserve better than this. And he owes you this apology. And listen, you do deserve better. And it would be nice to get an apology. But at this point, you're still continuing to give him all this power by saying, I need this from him to move on, right? It's been 7 months, and so like it could be 7 more months if you're just going to continue to obsess over the tragic. I mean, this is tragic and it sucks, and I'm sorry. But at this point, you can only keep feeling shitty about it and keep trying to understand why these people did this very unfriendly and mean thing, but you're not the only one who people have done mean things to. And I only say that not to make you, it's just like sometimes shitty things happen and that sucks. And it does. We've been there and it's just like, but I want, like, like you said, it's been 7 months. It's a long time. And I'd like it to not be 7 more months. Right. And I'd like you just kind of, if you feel stupid about this happening, forgive yourself. There's nothing to forgive, but sometimes you just have to just be like, this is okay. This is not a reflection of me. I didn't do anything wrong. If you want to, just to like make sure, you can like look back and be, was I like ever annoying? And I'm sure you were, because everyone is sometimes, but like, that's not why, that didn't justify his actions, right? Like, I'm just simply saying in any breakup, you can look back and be like, well, how could I have been a better girlfriend, or boyfriend? Like, I'm sure you could have, right? Everyone could be. Again, that doesn't justify what he did. But if you're trying to like make the negative into a positive, you could do that. But you don't want to like, you need to try to heal and get over this so that your next relationship, you're just not like downloading this tragic story on them, like you don't want your next date or your next boyfriend to try to pick up the pieces of you being like, dumped by an entire community. And, maybe your next boyfriend like isn't someone who like has such a tight community and travels on the road, because I'm guessing like this community was like, is he in a band?
Yeah, a little bit of everything.
So like they have friends and they go on the road, and it's a very like you said, tight group of which, the loyalty is going to always be with him. And then like people come and go out of this group. You're probably not the first one who has had this happen to them in this group, if that makes you feel better, is my guess. So you got to, so it's good that you wrote the letter, but you need to like
for yourself.
And if you want to send it, fine. But
I don't think
it will note. I mean, I'm just saying, like, doesn't really matter. Sometimes you need to send it just to get it out there, but you need to realize it's not gonna change anything. There's a good chance he won't read it, and you have to like remind yourself that you don't need him to make you feel like you deserved better. He's, that's a wild thing for him to do. So now you're trying to understand crazy. And you know what I'm saying? You're trying to, like, I'm not saying he's a narcissist or anything like that, but like a narcissist would do something like that, right? So let's say for argument's sake that he is a narcissist. Fine. All the more reason why it would be kind of insane for you to try to understand the actions of someone who doesn't know how to show empathy for anyone. You know what I'm saying? But themselves. And again, he doesn't have to be a narcissist. Like, you don't have to be a narcissist to do mean things to people. That's not the explanation for everything. But you get what I'm saying, though? Like, he is demonstrating extreme behavior that shows a lack of empathy for someone's feelings, someone he claimed to really love and care about. And now you're trying to understand that logic. And
that's true. And
that's only going to drive, you can drive yourself crazy trying to understand crazy.
That makes a lot of sense.
My therapist, because, I understand that feeling of wanting to like have someone pay for what they did or like get revenge in a way or make them feel bad. But he just said like, that's not your job. Your job isn't to make them feel the consequences. Like, they will have the consequences of their actions. That's the way the world works. You get consequences. It's karma. What you do comes back to you. So you can let that go as part of your responsibility of like, because if that revenge feeling, it only ultimately hurts you. Yeah.
And I guess I kind of believe in karma, but even more so, like, not even worrying about whether they get it, like that's not, sometimes you'd be like, oh, well, it's not my job, but like, as long as I find out that like karma gets them, and then your Facebook, you're looking him up on Instagram every year. Like, when the fact that he's on a second relationship,
too much.
You're just like trying to you're trying to, it's not your problem anymore.
Yeah.
I agree with Rochelle. It's safe to say that someone who does stuff like this is probably just generally not happy, and he's constantly chasing happiness and excitement, and he gets bored quickly, and he runs through people emotionally all the time. Someone like that will probably never totally be happy, but that's not like, it's not going to get you anywhere hoping that he will wake up one day and realize he made a mistake or made a lot of mistakes or feels sadness. Like, I don't think holding on to that anger is going to do anything positive for your heart. it's not a reflection of you. Like, you did nothing wrong, and you just have to forgive yourself for judging yourself at times, because it's safe to say that you probably have done that by like, it's just natural. I mean, to like be hurt and then feel stupid or feel silly and then try to justify it. And you need to stop doing that. You know, there's nothing to feel stupid or silly about. You know, it could have been anyone. And there's a lot of people who have been ghosted, and you don't have to date someone for, you know, on 2 dates. People get ghosted for 2 years, and it's not okay. But, you know, unfortunately it happens. But now you're only just making it worse.
Yeah, I think there's a ton of self-blame that comes with it, because you start questioning like everything. Ghosting is like the meanest thing that you can do to anybody.
Yeah, especially, I mean,
It is.
This is not the same, but like, and eventually we got back together, but I can kind of like, my first girlfriend, and again, it was young love and it was fairly toxic and we were just figuring it out. But one time we broke up, and we didn't break up. She just disappeared. I mean, she still lived like 10 miles away or whatever, but like, yeah, she refused to take my calls, and it was just like, I was at a total loss, and it was sucked. And it was, yeah, it sucks. It sucks to feel like someone just doesn't want anything to do with you, and just their way of handling it is to just leave. But again, that's because they in that moment think that's what they need. He doesn't care about you. And I know that sucks to hear, but take comfort in the fact that he only has the capacity to really care about himself.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I'm sorry that happened to you, though, and good for you for working through it and writing the letter. And
yeah, but you got to move on. You got to really. I think it's time.
You got too much going for you.
Tough love for yourself.
Yeah,
like you got to get back out there.
Yeah,
you got to stop wondering about why his friends did this or why he did this, and how does he care? Does he ever think about it? Does he ever regret it? Would he read this? And I've been there, but like, you're spending so much of your day still thinking about a relationship that ended 7 months ago, and you really got to stop. And you really, like, when you're in your car driving and your mind wanders there, you literally got to stop. And you'll go back there 5 minutes later, but you just really, you got to stop. I'm glad you called. Thanks for sharing your story. Stop talking to your friends about it. Stop talking to your mom about it.
Yeah.
Don't call another podcast and like. You know what I'm saying? You really got to stop.
Do something ceremonial to like let it go, because that's so hard.
Burn the letter. You know,
burn it.
If you want to send it, fine, but it's not going to change anything. But you really delete him from your life.
Yeah.
You know, literally and figuratively. Because you know, right now you're kind of in this emotional prison.
And you're too great to let that happen. Look at you. You're a total babe.
Yeah.
Smart. Talented, yeah.
Yeah. Like listen, I'm sure, like, you are a total babe. You probably grew up your whole life thinking, and I've been there, and it's like, this could never happen to me. And then it did, you know? But that's just your ego, you know? But don't let your ego make this worse than it needs to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's time to move on.
It really is. There's plenty of guys I'm sure will like love to date you.
Please. Screw that guy.
But when they do, you do not want to be sitting down and meeting a nice guy and just like pour out this like story. You're going to look like a hot mess, you know? And so deal with it. Have you talked to a therapist? Have you seen?
Yeah. I've actually been doing a lot of work. It's
Great.
just
awesome.
It's just so hard to shape when you.
I get it.
You know.
But again, it's funny. I said, "Have you talked to a therapist?" And I would almost say that reluctantly to you, only because I think you just need to stop fucking talking about it. You know. And I know that you've done, like, again, because I've been there. I do ruminate a lot, so like I say that without judgment. That I'm confident knowing that you've thought about this nonstop for 7 months. And it's time. It's time to stop.
About it.
It's time to stop. You know?
Yeah.
So that's my biggest takeaway. All right.
Okay.
Thank you for calling.
Burn the letter.
Burn the letter.
Sure. Whatever you do with it, you just
have all your friends over and do something.
Force yourself to stop talking about it. Yeah. And it starts with you. like stop thinking about it, stop talking about it. Tell yourself, I'm happy, I'm strong. Even if you don't believe it, fucking fake it till you make it, you know, and it'll take a few months, but eventually you'll actually start believing it. But right now you're not even giving yourself a shot.
Yeah, you're true. You're right. It's true.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, best of luck.
Thanks,
You're
guys.
going to be fine. I believe in you. All right.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah. I've been there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you just obsessed?
I mean, yeah, I was 21 at the time when that happened, but
Yeah.
because it doesn't really matter.
Also, when you're dating like a successful musician, you have all these fantasies of how your life's gonna go. And,
Sure, but I think it's less about that. I think it's more about the ego. I mean, listen, what happened there was tragic. So like it does, you know, even if you don't have an ego, you feel so much embarrassment.
Oh, yeah.
You feel tragic, and then especially if you had a whole community, and then you know, she gets older, and you know, I get older, and you were like, oh, I can't believe this happened to me now. And this is the bullshit I thought I was going to happen when I was 21. But yeah, regardless of what age you are when it happens, it's not so much an obsession. It's just like you think, wow, how could this happen to me?
Yeah.
And then to try to justify this to your ego and explain to your ego that you're not a total loser.
Yeah.
You spend like every moment trying to like understand.
Yeah.
And you try to understand crazy, and you can drive yourself crazy. But yeah, so well, another great episode. I learned a lot. Biggest takeaway today is you can't delay the inevitable.
Yeah.
I think, you know, either
Rip off that Band-Aid.
Rip it off. Be honest with yourself. You can't avoid heartbreak one way or the other.
Yeah.
It's
coming for you.
coming for you. Well, thanks for listening, guys. Another great episode. Don't forget to subscribe, sending your reviews, and sending your questions at asknick@castmedia.com. Cast with a K. And we will see you tomorrow. Have a good day.